Fucking hell, that's bright. Right, I'll stand over here. Right, okay, you can see. Right, thank you very much. My talk today is I'm going to try and balance the intellectual mind wank with the practicality. I'm going to talk about how to add masculinity to the day game you already have. So how about Richard, if we go to the next slide. Right then, so masculine polarity in day game. I'm already going to assume, rightly or wrongly, that you have decent level of game. So if you don't and you're still at an earlier level, this stuff is maybe going to be interesting for you, but you might not feel like you can directly implement it. The guys who've got more sets, getting laid a bit more regularly, you're going to pick up things you can add in. So you could kind of think of this as the special sauce, right? It's Tony the Tiger's secret recipe. It's like an overlay you put onto game. I'm not talking about the structure of game and how to move along or how to do game. I'm going to talk about just how to add a little bit more masculine polarity to the game you do. So I'm going to do two parts. The first bit, I'm going to give you a little bit of mind wank on polarity, general principles. And then part two, we'll go through the stages of a set, and at each stage think how can we put a bit more masculinity at this level, a couple of practical things. So, next one please. Okay, so first, if we're going to talk about polarity, what is polarity? Right. The feminine is attracted to the masculine. That's not quite the same as saying women are attracted to men or men are attracted to women. It's more like there is a feminine essence, there's a masculine essence. Men tend to embody masculine essence, at least they used to until about 30 years ago. And same with women. Women tend to embody feminine essence. Now there's going to be biology behind this about estrogen, testosterone. That's not really the point. We're going to keep more at a symbolic level. But think of it this way. Think of a continuum which has 100% pure masculinity on one end, 100% pure femininity on the other end, and androgyny, like neither male nor female in the middle. You're going to be somewhere on the spectrum, hopefully on the left-hand side. And what you find, if you observe couples, like in streets, in bars, restaurants, wherever, if you kind of hypothetically, by looking at the guy, try to give him like a masculinity score, he'll be somewhere on this side. And the woman will be somewhere on that side. And what you'll find quite regularly is that the guy is the same distance from androgyny as the woman is in her direction. There's a kind of balance of masculinity and femininity. It's like the polarity is matched. And thus you'll normally find that the most masculine guys, whether that's badass, thuggish, no-necked MMA fighters, or whether it's more like the George Clooney, right, because there's different ways of being masculine. It's not all about just looking like a thug. But the extent to which he's masculine will be balanced by the extent to which he's feminine, which means those really ditzy, girly girls will tend to be with the really, really masculine guys. The easiest way to see an extreme of this is go to the Apple store and look at the couples, and you actually have to figure out which you're looking like, which one's male, which one's female. You're not really sure, because those they'll be like here. Right? So what we're basically going to talk about, or I'm going to drone on and you're going to listen, is how to push yourself further this way in order to get women who are further this way, who I think are more attractive. So that's the idea of polarity. The reason it's called polarity is it's like magnets, right? You have north and south in a magnet. North and south attract, north and north repel. So what is masculinity? Well, I mean, people have written books on it, so I'm just going to give you a sort of quick, dirty version. But I think masculinity is mostly power plus gravitas, right? Women are attracted to men who show strength. Now that can be physical strength, it can be financial strength, it can be personality strength. There's like strength is not just like how much can you bench press, but women are attracted to strength, and just like Eddie was talking about earlier, a lot of things come in game advice from that. So for example, don't smile too much because it's undercutting your power. right? You're deliberately cutting yourself off at the knees with your power if you smile too much. That's one particular expression of keeping your strength and not giving it away, not undercutting it. So you could almost think symbolically as well, male-female interactions are all about the man essentially projecting power onto the woman and the woman absorbing it and trying not to fall off the rodeo bull. So if you think of, like, say, when you're fucking a girl, what you're basically doing is pumping power into her, and she's absorbing it, and, you know, letting out the exhaust fumes of, like, squeaking and groaning and crying, right? So you're putting power into girls. This is why, for example, masculinity is associated with leadership, decisiveness, taking the opportunities, going out and initiating, being proactive. These are all masculine traits, because what they're all doing is you going and projecting your power and strength onto the girl. She's passive. So, hang on. By the way, I've got some notes on my phone, so just to make sure I don't miss anything, I'm going to refer to them every now and then. Right then. So, hopefully by adding in these masculine traits to your game, it's going to be like putting the nitro on your race car in Need for Speed, right? It gives you that little bit of boosted performance to what is already a fundamentally sound car. Right? So next slide, please. Okay, so, but right, before going to that, the proviso of this is not going to replace your game, right? This is something you put onto your game. And also, like all things we talk about today, what we're trying to do is put order into chaos. Right? Human interactions are naturally of a very broad spectrum with all kinds of if this, then that, but this, maybe that. So if at any stage in a set, your calibration is telling you this thing, whereas my talk or anybody else's talks is telling you this other thing, default your calibration. Right? So don't stick too religiously to this model. Always rely on thinking on your feet and improvising in the moment, and let your calibration direct you. So those are just two little provisos before we dive too deep.